Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome to the parenting webinar, Making of Legends. And I'd just like to know if you can hear me, if you can see me well, hear me well. Just drop a yes in the chat box. Thank you, Atul. Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Kamalakshi. Thank you. Thank you, Arjun. Yeah. It's superb. Great. Welcome to today's webinar. First of all, happy Dasara to you. And thank you for taking time out today and to be here. I hope to share some amazing insights which will help you as a parent and give you some breakthroughs as well. And just to introduce myself, I am Captain Preetham Madhukar, a former sea captain. And after 20 plus years of sailing, I started my organization called Skills Beyond Education in 2016. And I've run through many programs for children and parents and adults. I'll share more about myself a little later, and which will help you get context of the uh, tips that I'm going to share. It will start making sense with the stories that I share and the tactics that I'm going to be sharing. I'm also an elite performance coach. That means I help people overcome procrastination, help people, become high performers, and that's how the Making of Legends program has, is ongoing. And I'm also a parenting coach, speaker, and author of the book Three Culprits: Laziness, Fear, and Doubt. It's available on Amazon. It's for anybody who likes self-help books, who wants to improve themselves. They can see some things there. And I'm also the Ed Falcon Global Award, top 10 for mentoring. I got this recognition. So this is a brief background, and I'm speaking from Bangalore. I just like to know from where are you joining from, and let's begin from there. If you could drop in the chat box, which city are you joining from? Atul is from Ahmedabad, Kamakshi is from Udupi, and Arjun from Hyderabad. Super. Great to hear this. And I want you all to keep asking your questions and reserve it for the end. But you can sometimes, if you think that some question is there, you can ask me and interrupt me and drop it in the chat box. And another thing that I would like to ask is what uh, are you a parent? I'm assuming you're a parent. You could be, because this webinar is not only for parents, but for teachers and anybody who's aspiring to be a parenting coach. And I will be sharing more about that as well. So do let me know, are you a parent, and then what is the age of your child, and if it's a son or a daughter? Are you joining in as a teacher? Are you coming as a wannabe coach, aspiring coach, or are you a parent? So I can also tweak and tell you those moments and tips which will help you even more. Thanks, Arjun. Arjun is a parent of a teenage son, 14-year-old. And what I would also like to share is why this Making of Legends program, because when I started the organization, I wanted to help people become better versions, help them reach their highest potential. And I realized that the best way to do it is to empower parents themselves, because they have a real interest in the child. They have their intention is good. Maybe they don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. So if I could empower the parents themselves, and that way they will be able to build those legends in their own children, maybe build legends as coaches for others children, maybe their brothers, sisters, all their, their neighborhood children, and help them become those legends. So I would also be sharing more about a 2-day workshop. This webinar is to let you know that if you like this webinar, if you like the values that I'm sharing, if you found a lot of value in today's webinar, then I would like to invite you for a 2-day workshop, and I'll be sharing more details about it later. And Maya wants to be an aspiring coach. Superb, Maya. Kamalakshi is from Udupi. I have a parent of a teenage daughter as well as a lecturer for pre-university students. Superb. Great to hear that, Kamalakshi. Although I will be sharing, the main focus of today would be age 5 to 15 years, but you would get some idea of some framework that I'm going to be sharing, very powerful framework that you can even use for these pre-university students as well. So, so this is the background. And another thing that I would also like to ask you is, what is the major or one major or burning issue that you have with your parenting? What is it that you would like to solve, or if you could work on that, something that has been bothering you either in recent times or has been bothering you for a while? What is that one issue that you would like to overcome? Some challenge. Arjun wants to help his son become more confident, especially when talking to outsiders. Okay, that's something else that we will be covering today. And Maya wants to know how to help people overcome gadgets. Kamalakshi is also on the same line, mobile addiction. This is a very, very big issue today. And I'll be covering a little bit on this and telling you what you could do. In fact, my book talks about the three culprit talks about this mobile addiction and how you can overcome. So great to know what y'all are interested in and what y'all have come here for. And I will speak about it more. Superb. So I hope you all are all excited to learn. At least I want to help you with your burning question, if nothing else. And I will help you with few things that is going to give you the breakthroughs to become a better parent. Especially today, parenting has become a lot of stress, and how to become more stress free in that. So these knowledge that I'm sharing with you has come through many mentors that I've worked under, right from my sea career, all the captains that I've worked and sailed under, all the people that I've met through different spiritual philosophies like anthroposophy, J. Krishnamurti's philosophies and other kind of spiritual philosophies, but also wonderful mentors like Robin Sharma, where I had this moment to learn from him, and other lot of wonderful mentors in my life. So what I'm bringing through you is practical tips. I'm going to be less focused on the science part of what's happening in your brain versus what you should do to solve your problem. What is the medicine you need to take? Sometimes the medicine may not be what you like. You may not like the doctor or the medicine, but the medicine will get you the results. Okay, if you can follow the approach. So I'll be talking about the three uncomfortable truths of parenting. And I will also be sharing one framework for stress free parenting. Okay. And the third one is how to build healthy and confident children. That's what Arjun was asking. I'll tackle his issue there. And the fourth is Q&A. like people talking about gadget addiction, building confident children. If it doesn't get addressed by then I'll take it up in the end. So the other thing that I want you also to think about is what will change if your teenage or your tween kids or a teen kids, if they are able to overcome like gadget addiction, or if they are able to become more confident, able to become more disciplined, what will change in your life and their life? It's something for you to think about, and uh, just be with that thought as I continue forward. And just as a rule, one of the things that I've realized is whenever you're there in the webinar or any workshop, participate fully. That's when you can maximize your learning. Really, uh, when I go and sit in somebody's webinar, I want to learn something, how they build something. Maybe it could be on social media, it could be on this and that parenting. I go with my student hat so I can maximize my learning, so I can absorb there and come back and implement it with my programs. So just for this next 1.5 hours, 2 hours, do join with an open mind. Be open to the tactics that I'm sharing with you. This is something that I have tried for the last few years in many of my programs with children and in my mentoring programs, and it has worked. And so once you come with an open mind, just for a thing that what if this works, what if this is the way to do it, you'll be amazed at the results you're going to get. So this parenting webinar, like I mentioned, is to invite you to a 2-day workshop. Okay. So, but I want you first to see if this is the workshop, if this workshop is right for you, and if you can benefit from them, see value, and then sign up for the 2-day workshop. Whether you sign up or not does not matter. But what is important is you stay till the end, learn whatever you can maximum. Maybe it could be just that one thing that you needed today to help you become a little more better parent than what you are. Okay. So let's continue. These are the three things, three uncomfortable truths of parenting, one framework for stress free parenting, and how to build healthy and confident children. So, if you have any questions at any time, I can see a few more people are joining in now. Whoever, you have any questions, then drop it in the chat box. I might not see, you may have to repost it again towards the end. And, but for now, just post your questions. If something is appropriate, I will answer them. If not, I will take it at towards the end again. Okay. So the 2-day workshop is called the Legend Maker because of the work that I've been doing with children. I can see some really fantastic changes in them, the way they carry themselves, especially the children that I've worked few years back. And I can see results now after 5, 6 years. So it was not even like I can see results after 3, 4 months, but sustained results for a long time. So this 2-day workshop is more like a preventive and soulful parenting. Today's webinar is more like your band-aid, your first aid kind of parenting, where you have some issues. I'm going to give you some solutions and you're going to go home and try this out. But the 2-day workshop is intensive workshop for parents, teachers, or anyone who's aspiring to be a parent coach. So this is on 9th and 10th of December 2023 between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. And if this is something that you can take time out, then I would highly advise you to sign up for this program. I will share more details later. If not, also it's okay. But in this program, I will be sharing just about everything that I have learned in parenting, that I have implemented in my mentoring programs with children and adults. And you'll be amazed at the impact that you will see in your child's life and even in your own life. So again, any questions, keep posting. And hello to all the newcomers who have just joined in now. And so this is about more preventive parenting. There is no perfect parenting. Okay. Neither I'm also a parent of a teenager. There is no perfect parenting. The only thing we are trying to do is increasing the probability of success, reducing our stress levels, making sure that we have done our bit to help the child live up to that full potential, to become a legend maker. So that is the goal. The webinar is one step. The 2-day parenting workshop is the next step or more intensive step. What is the desire for your child? I know some of you said to overcome gadgets, build confidence. If there is anything else, what is the desire for your child, especially for the new joiners? If you have something to add, what would you like to see for your child? You can write it in the chat box. What is the one thing that you are seeking for your child? Make it into two parts. Okay. What is it that you're seeking now? Like gadget addiction is for now. Okay. Confidence is for now. Discipline and self is for now. What is it that you're seeking 20 years down the line? What kind of child would you like to see? What would you like to see in them? Ramesh is saying balanced upbringing, mind, body, spirit, reads too much but does not exercise or play enough. Superb. Great observation and great point raised, Ramesh. When I'll be sharing the framework, I will be talking about this aspect as well. In case it doesn't get addressed, then please do raise it again. And and this and the second part that I would like to ask is, how do you feel as a parent? What are you seeking? How do you feel as a parent? Is the second question. Ramesh has another message. He's now 7 years old and of late not listening as easily as before and become a bit stubborn. Super, great question. And one of the readings is actually interconnected. Reading and stubbornness are some way interconnected. I don't know how much I'll be able to touch in today's webinar, but definitely in the 2-day workshop, we'll be going more in depth. But reading wakes up the intellect very early in ourselves, especially children. When I'm sharing the framework again, I will come to this. So, all great questions. I'm excited to be sharing you the specific solutions that you have come. This is like first aid, band aid kind of webinar just to give you a specific solution. If you're interested in more deeper solutions for your children, not only to overcome the challenges, but also in a proactive way to build them to become this legend maker, healthy, soulful children, then the 2-day workshop will give you those answers. So let's continue. And before we continue, I would also like to share a little about myself. What is my background? Why am I talking about parenting? What is all this about? So you can understand where I'm coming from, the stories, and it will help you make sense of the solutions for yourself. Okay. I hope that's good with you. Do let me know. Do say, yes, if that's okay, so I can continue sharing a little bit about myself. Thank you, Arjun. Thank you, Kamakshi. I mean, one of the things that I became passionate about was my own procrastination, my own willpower. And I was raised in a middle class family, and I had this dream of becoming a sailor, a captain of the ship one day. And I never knew I would be able to achieve it, but I just went about relentlessly after it. There were no mentors back then, nobody to guide. I would go and ask different people, and through that, found how to join and become a sailor and then go on to become a captain. So it was a difficult journey. And coming from a middle class, a lower middle class upbringing, we didn't have that kind of mentors who were aware of how one could get this kind of career guidance and those kind of coaching. But just by having the right mindset from the parents helped me get into sailing career. So I will tell you what those techniques are. And once I became the captain, I started observing that the quality of people that were coming into the ship were getting lower and lower, poorer and poorer, and that kept frustrating me. I didn't know what to do about it. And I thought I was just the unlucky one who would get all these kinds of people on my team. But then I realized this was a problem happening everywhere in the world, not just with the maritime industry, but everywhere in the world. And that awakened me to start searching for something. What is happening? Why is this happening? And what can we do about it? And at that point in 2012, I met a person, a very inspiring lady. She was in her 70s then, Mrs. Lalita. And she gave the first seeds of parenting to me. The first insights about what good parenting means, what we need to do. And she used to run a kindergarten school, and or rather, she still runs a kindergarten school. And that gave me an insights about, oh my God, this is what we should be doing as a parent. And it was a very educational moment. And I started going more deeper into understanding this subject, started to help others. Whenever I would get time, free time, I would start helping out either in the school or with other parents and children, and became more involved in this journey. And I also did a lot of courses on that, in 2012 to 2015, to learn more about this mentoring, especially for children. And in 2016, I decided that I wanted to start this next phase of my career. I had sailed for 20 plus years, and I said, okay, you know what? I have achieved what I could maximum of being a captain on a ship, and I want to do something else. Bring all this knowledge and experience I've gained in sea and outside in helping children, and did a lot of courses, a lot of learning from different mentors on teaching and running a school, building our willpower, building our confidence, and started implementing this with children's programs. So that is how I had this journey, to go from captain to coach. And there were a lot of very interesting programs, that unique programs rather, that I would do in Bangalore, like stargazing camp, woodworking camp, farming camps for children. And this became where I could see the changes that I was seeking in children. I could observe in them. Their willpower was getting better. They were less addicted to gadgets. Their creativity was on a high. They were intelligent. In fact, to share a story with you, I remember these two young boys. They were part of my program, and they were talking with few other kids, not part of the program, just generally outside when we are speaking. And one of the boys, I think they were about 7 6 7 year old that time, and one of the boys saw some clouds, and he started explaining to these two kids, saying that, hey, that those are the clouds, and you can see them, it's moving. There's going to be condensation and evaporation, and soon there's going to be rain and all the stuff. And these two kids were little startled, what is he talking, and on the thing. And one of them said, hey, no man, these clouds are going out of station, they're going for a vacation, today's weekend. So it was very spontaneous, funny, but at the same time, a lot of wit involved there. So What I'm trying to say is this kind of intelligence, what we call real intelligence, we need to build in children, not just the knowledge that comes from books, which is good, not just about knowing which distance is from Bangalore to Delhi, but really understanding the intelligence behind it. Because if we can build that, then they are set for life. They would be able to steer their own ship, their own life, their own career paths, life partner, and all those things. So the programs that I would do were a lot of offline programs like stargazing. It involves a lot of handwork. It would build a lot of inner strength in these children, rope work and things like that. So this is the way in which I had, practical insights into children's changes. My best mentors, though I had amazing mentors all through my life, and I'm very grateful to all of them. But the best mentors I've had were the children themselves. The children were my best mentors. They would tell me instantly whether something that I was doing was working or not. And all I had to do was pay attention, and then I would know that whatever I'm trying out is not working. Try this way, try that way, and they would show the responses, and the responses was the mentoring that I received. And they would come and share their feedback very candidly and share that they didn't like something, do something. So the best mentoring were the children. So there is this very famous quote: where do you learn about parenting? Where is the book which teaches us about parenting? The best book is the children themselves. They will teach us about parenting, because all we need to do is just pay a little closer attention to them, and the answers will start coming to us. So this is another thing, very important part that happened in my life. The third part was about running a homeschooling initiative for about 12 children, where we did a lot of work. We built a barn with our hands. They weaved the mats with the coconut fronds, and daily they were class cleaning, cutting the grass, cleaning classroom, cleaning the toilets, spick and span. And when I meet these kids, and they were all kids from middle class to upper middle class and well-to-do family. They're not like, poorer kids, but their parents were all open to the idea of working and doing and learning things. So it was a great opportunity to mentor these kids. And especially for 1 year, I focused really on them and shared a lot of stories which were teachable moments to help them become these legend makers. Today it's been many years. When I meet these kids, they carry themselves with so much confidence, so much of will strength that they have, and clarity, that it amazes me. And that's why today I'm sharing with you these kind of secrets. I'm going to be sharing with this in the 2-day workshop as well. Whatever I can share today, I will be sharing, but more in the 2-day workshop. So these are the practical things because of which I started the organization Skills Beyond Education. Like the name goes, it is Skills Beyond Education. And that is the whole mission. The second part was where I ran a program for the older kids between 13 and 16-year-olds, where we ended up publishing a book called The Call of the Blue. And in 2018, 2019. And this was a wonderful experience for us as mentors and the children. They took a gap year and they were working with me directly. And we were going down in the streets, doing a field survey, writing the book, publishing it, learning all about it. We didn't know anything about it, but we learned together and ended up publishing a book. It was literally a project based learning in its truest and purest spirit. And that also gave a lot of insights from changing these kids from being shy kids to extremely confident kids today. So this has been the primary journey of what I would do. And post COVID, my programs have migrated to more online format, and I've been mentoring a lot of parents and teenagers, helping them build their confidence, helping parents get clarity on their parenting journey, and including other individuals, business owners, to become legend, not just children. That is the primary goal, because easy to work with them and try to help them become these legends, and but more importantly also to help other adults and individuals if they're interested using the same techniques that I would use for children. I realized that it works even for adults, and I started using those techniques even for adults, and it started showing results there as well. So the techniques I'm going to be sharing, the framework that I'm going to share is universal. You have to tweak it, of course, a little bit, but it's a universal kind of a framework. I would also like to share my mission, the mission of making thousand legends. Okay. To when I say thousand legends, I want to help at least thousand people in which out of which there are Nobel laureates, experimentalists, innovators, elite athletes and Olympians, renowned mentors, coaches, community and business leaders, eminent artists, chefs, authors. So I want to help them become this kind of individuals, help them reach their full potential. Today, we can see so much of mediocrity all around us. We don't get even good quality service when we go out. So, if we can build these kind of children, and one of the reasons is we are not doing the right thing at a fundamental age, and the fundamental age is the 5 to 15 years. The first 5 years is very instinct based, more of feeding, cleaning, visits to doctor, just taking care, just helping them get to their feet and to a good, healthy body. Of course, there are a lot of things that can go wrong, a lot of things parents are doing wrong, which is creating addiction. So, attention deficits, creating gadget addiction, all the things not to do. But 5 to 15 years is when the main parenting happens. After 15 is kind of the beginning of the end of parenting. Okay. Of course, you can still influence, but the degree of influence will drastically start to drop. Then outside mentors, outside coaches, counselors, therapists, they come into friends, any other inspiring persons, they can help them. But the parent themselves have to now step back. Their role has kind of ended. So that's why I say maximize the role that you're playing in the 5 to 15 years. This is where you're at your best, your parenting best. Maximize that you're the child's greatest mentor, your child's greatest influencer. So one of the things I've realized through this story that I've shared is if I can empower the parent themselves. Why? Because the child spends so much of time with the parents in this phase. And even if we say schools and teachers, not all schools are aware or willing to do these kinds of nurturing for the children. And even if they are burdened by the boards, they're burdened by the principal, their parents pressure, they have to do all the syllabus. In that midst, to do all these kinds of building of the character and personality becomes less and less. So who has it? The parent can take that role ahead. Today, we have delegated it off to schools and colleges, but really, as a parent, there has to be some role that we need to take up so that we can help this little children, young adults, and young men and women to become the legends that we can make them, so they can live their life full potential. And before I share, we start with the program itself and start sharing with you the three uncomfortable truths, because once you understand uncomfortable truths, you'll start seeing the jigsaw puzzle making sense and the answers coming to you. I want to share with you one parent's journey when she started implementing the techniques and what kind of changes that she has seen. I would like to play this for you. And I am a working mom. I have two kids. My other one is 5 years old, girl, and my youngest son is 1 year old. I actually came to Captain Preetham for. Can you let me know if you can hear the I'm sound? And I am a working mom. I have two kids.
My elder one is 5 years old. She's a daughter, she's a girl, and I have a younger son who is 1 year old. I actually came to Captain Preetham for my coaching in different aspects, in parenting, understanding my passions, and for better performance in work and in life as usual. But parenting was one big game changer for me with Captain. I I understood that the kind of parenting which I am doing is maybe it is quite competitive kind for my daughter. But then I realized it's very important to give children that slow parenting and become like a firm parent, which is actually what they want, and builds them for actually 20 years. I didn't realize that. I was just running a race and comparing my kid with other kids. But the tips and suggestions and which I got from Captain was was is actually phenomenal. I saw the changes. I applied it on my child. I saw that she is responding much better. I have more connects with her. Our bond is getting better each day. She's listening to me. Earlier, there were lots of tantrums, which has reduced drastically. And I think this is just the beginning. And I am set to build a better and a very strong bond with my kids. And I'm looking forward to it and I'm enjoying this parenting journey. That's from a parent who was like very anxious and worried about what to do, and parenting was like a burden to me. Now I'm enjoying this parenting journey. I look forward to more. Thank you, Captain. I wouldn't have done this much without your help and support. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramesh. You said audio is broken, but can manage it loud, soft, intermittently. Maybe we will look into it a little later. But I hope you all were able to listen to it at least something, and there was at least the transcript going on, the subtitles. Thank you, Ramesh. And I'm just scrolling back few messages. Uh, I feel very happy as a parent to my son, Omkar, but I want to be a better person, to be more equipoised, and to be guided by higher consciousness as I look after my family. Wonderful, Ramesh. Thank you for sharing. Ramesh, wow, thank what you say makes so much sense. I too have the dream of educating dharmic individuals as they grow up. Is the need of the hour for Bharat and world, in fact. Thank you. Thank you so much. One of the things that Abba had was also about, managing tantrums. She had a tough time handling this, eating issues for her child. So some of the frameworks that I shared with her really helped her, and she could start seeing those changes in her life, and she started feeling less stressed out. The initial few times she was always stressed out, this is what happening, and then she would come back with more smiling, and towards the end she was full of smiles by the end of our mentoring program. So this is what it could do. What if you start applying something, some of the strategies that I will be sharing with you.
Hi, Mom. And
It's time to share the three uncomfortable truths. And like I said, it's uncomfortable, so it's going to be a little uneasy. But like I said, with an open mind, and we can find a lot of solutions for ourselves with that. What is the first uncomfortable truth? Is neurotic or fear based parenting. No, most of parenting, I've done this myself. most of parenting is fear-based parenting. You know, don't climb the tree, don't play in the mud, don't talk to strangers. Have you yourself done something in the recent past? It could be anything. I just give you most common ones that we pass on our fears, right? And when we pass on our fear, we don't let the individual thrive to their full potential. They just become mini me's of ourselves. They are not their full potential. And that is why it's called the sins of the parent. I remember sharing this recently with someone, a parent, and during a mentoring program. And she told me that how it's so true that her mother would tell her not to climb the tree. And she is now telling her daughter not to climb the tree because she could fall. They said, exactly, this is what I mean by sense of the parent, that we carry on our fears to our child. It could be in, it makes us more anxious. It makes the child also more anxious. So they don't live to the full potential. What I say is the parents are a great inspiring personalities in the child's life, great aids to child's life. But the same parents, as if they become extremely neurotic, fear based, they can become the roadblock to the child's growth and development. You know, so this is the harsh truth that we need to become aware of how much of what we tell the kid is out of our own fear. Can you let me know with an N if you are also doing or done a neurotic or fear based parenting? Type an N if you have done a neurotic or fear based parenting, either now or in the recent past or whenever you remember. I can see a couple of N's coming in, you know. So the more we become aware, the easier it is to come out, because only then will we take steps to come out of it, right? The more we become aware of the things that we are telling a child, don't do this, don't do that, and or join this course, especially for older teenage parents, join this course, do this exam, do that, do this. It's all coming out of our own fear of what is good for them. We are not allowing them to thrive for themselves, not allowing their individual clarity or purpose to come. Then what happens to such children when they are grown up? This is what I've seen when we're working with much older young adult children, that they become dependent on the parent for everything. They are not able to take clear decisions because they don't know if what they're taking is the right one or not, because they never took a decision and they were never sure about it. To share a story, there were these two twins, and the parents would make most of the decisions, but they came to me for building confidence in their children. And in one such thing, they wanted the child to participate in two different activities. And one, I think, was they wanted to join a church choir. And in another one, they wanted to um, set up a stall. And they asked the children, what you want to do? They said, we don't know. So when they were talking to me, I said, what is happening? They're telling me, anyway, whatever decision you take, you're probably going to ask us to do something else based on what you want us to do. So why should we? I mean, we are not even sure if we are taking the right decision. So what happens is we don't allow the child, whether even if it's a teenager, to make those small mistakes and learn for themselves what is working. We are protective, you know. So the fear based parenting is also kind of acting as a roadblock. That's why there is a saying which says it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child. What it really means, apart from, yes, the people are going to take some workload out of you, whether it's cooking or cleaning or taking the child here and there. But what it means is that your fears are getting negated by another member in your family, maybe your brother, sister, father, mother. Let's say you say, don't climb the tree. Maybe your brother will say, Arey, kuch nahi hoga, nothing, let him or her climb the tree. Then it gets balanced out. Maybe your brother will say, don't swim in the lake. You'll say, nothing will happen, I'll be there. Let the child swim. So this way, the child grows up more balanced with less fear. And when children grow up with this kind of approach, less fear, the kind of confidence you will see when you meet them on the road or whenever is completely different. So has been my experience, through the programs that I've been working on, that if we can control why parenting has got such, because parent are is the number one influencing factor in a child's life. Teachers are there, peers are there, all that is there, but the child is still living under your roof. So you are one of the primary influencing factors. So your fear is very real. If you're scared of something and things like that, even if the child acts a little bold and things like that, it still is going to affect them. So becoming aware of your fear and then talking about it is going to help. That's why it's good to talk your fears out with another adult instead of sharing it directly with her. If you're scared, yes, you're scared, the fear is real. Talk with your spouse, talk with your relatives, with your parents or anybody, in-laws, so that it's not to the child. I'm worried that this will happen. Probably they'll say, hey, nothing, don't worry about it, nothing's going to happen. And there it's getting there itself settled out. Don't bring it out to the child. The child will absorb like a sponge the fear, and then we will be wondering why the child is not confident, why they are not taking decisions, why are they doing this and that, right? So become aware. This is the first uncomfortable truth. Does it making sense what I've been sharing till so far? Have you been, is it giving you some value? Thank you, Ramesh. Super. So let's continue. And anytime you have a question, please do drop in, and welcome to some more new joiners who have just trooped in. And this is the first uncomfortable truth, neurotic or fear based parenting. The second uncomfortable truth is to be constantly liked by your children. You know, this is common. All parents, we have to accept that this is the way we are, to be constantly liked by our children. This is even more so now with nuclear families, single parents, because that the child becomes the center. You want them to like you. Most of our actions are based on if the child is going to like something or not like something. We want to be the favorite parent among the two, if at all there is something like that. Definitely, we like the child to like us now and later when they're older. Also, they should like us. If I'm exaggerating, but if there was a certificate, we definitely don't mind getting one certificate from our children. Okay, again, I'm exaggerating just to make a point that much how strong our desire to be liked by our children. So what happens when this is happens? Our actions, our decisions are decided by the child's feelings, likes and dislikes. Almost we become like a martyr parenting. We don't have our own dreams, our own things to do. Everything is around the child. The child starts becoming more entitled, and then we wonder what's happening when they're older kids. How did it happen? So by becoming aware and taking this kind of steps, the frameworks that I will share later, you will be able to break this pattern early on itself. You will start parenting for the long term. You will start doing what is right for the child. So this applies even to teachers, coaches, mentors, anybody in that role. Sometimes doing something so that the child likes us back, says okay or not. Today, especially when we're living in a social media, we want a lot of social media likes, we want a lot of social media to approve us. So it's even more amplified this behavior. So to be constantly liked by children and others. So become mindful, just like the other uncomfortable truth, how much of your decisions or actions is based out of this. Is your decision action based on your child liking you now, or based on what is good for your child, say 20 years down the line? If you can answer that question, most of your answers will come to you yourself. And most parents today, we in some ways follow the three O's: over indulgent, over involved, over interfering. So it is about doing less parenting. I also quite closely involved with the organic farming, and I have a very wonderful mentor, one of the renowned uh, biodynamic farmer in the country, Dr. Sarvadaman Patel. And by learning farming, I could see how closely connected farming and parenting were, and I was able to draw similarities. So the parenting is like gardening. You can't, the more you go and do something in the garden or overwater or overcare, the plant will probably die. I don't know if you've had this experience, especially if you have plants at home, go and do. And there are plants probably will not even care a little bit water and they're growing robust. So coming down to the other thing, sometimes the parents can be the roadblock. Become mindful that if your action is based on the likes of your child. Okay. So this is the second uncomfortable truth. Let me just check the chat. Certificate, never saw it this way. Respected is good, but being liked may be useful to some extent, certainly for their long-term goal. Great thoughts. So the third uncomfortable truth is not prepared for parenting, right? Very few have actually taken time to see what we need to do for parenting. Most of parenting is instinctual, just by instinct. Okay, child is hungry, feed, cranky, sleep. We are doing that instinctual parent, just seeing here and there. But we have to ask ourselves, even for a party, even for some festival, for a function, we do so much of preparation. But for parenting, we are hardly giving it much thought. And then expecting some miracles, expecting something fantastic to happen at the end of the parenting journey. And and also we are not prepared to how to handle these modern challenges like gadgets. Sleep is a big issue today. Little known problem, but it's like a ticking time bomb. We know that we need to keep fit. There is no two things about it. In the 80s, even that was a question, but today in 2020, nobody thinks fitness we need to do. Diet we need to take care. But sleep, just now people are waking up to it. But it is absolutely one of the most important needs of the human body, which directly affects your liver. Okay, there's more on this later, but this is something that we need to take care about. And most of our parenting is replacement parenting versus reverential parenting. What I mean by replacement parenting is, if there is a toy broken, today we have more disposable income. Okay, I'll get you a new toy on Amazon. Pet dies. Okay, get a new pet. Okay. So we have started to replace things quickly because we have that disposable income, or we have the access to it, or we can do it. What is that doing to the child? the child has less reverence for anything, less reverence for anything. Okay. There is no respect for things or people. So, one of the central things, especially if you want to teach young children, this is very easy to teach in young children, especially children below 7 years, is reverential parenting. That when something is broken, a toy is broken, I know you can afford it and get a new one, or Amazon is there, don't replace it immediately. Let the child feel that sorrow, let the child go through that emotion, outburst. And maybe after a month or so, you can probably replace it. Or on the birthday or New Year, have some movement. It's not just that we can afford it, so we just replace it. So become mindful of this, because we are setting in a wrong pattern right at the start. And the reasons I'm telling you all this is I work primarily with the 15 to 24-year olds. And when I see there, half of the issues could have been solved if they had done the things in the 5 to 15 years. So that is why I've come back in a way to see if parents themselves can be educated, if they can be informed. Just that parents always have good intent, it's just that sometimes they don't know what to do about it. And um, and especially also both the mother and father, what are their roles in parenting? What do they bring to the child in a spiritual aspect as well? And even otherwise, how are they helping the child become the citizen of this century, going forward, next generation? So all this kind of knowledge we are lacking. Most knowledge, when I go into some groups, Facebook groups here and there, most questions that are being asked is, which board should my son join? you know what syllabus, or which college, which career should they take, rather than how should they fish, how should they choose their career, how should they choose their life path, what should I do so they can take this decision for myself. That's why I shared my story early on, those true things which help me take those decisions, hard decisions, and help me steer my own course till today. So, what I'm trying to tell is we need to equip children, equip them so that they can start taking those decisions. So, that's why we need these kind of parenting programs. I'm really happy. And I firstly like to thank you from my heart for taking this time out today to be here with me so I can share these nuggets, share these things that I've collected over so many years, over probably about 12 years now. And used it in many of my programs, seen those changes, used it in many of the parents and seen those changes. Now I'm sharing some of them with you today. So thank you so much for taking time. I hope you implement them. Start working on these three uncomfortable truths, what you're going to do about it, and how you can educate yourself. Okay. Of course, like I said, we can't blame education system is also poor. Let's face that. But we can't just blame the teachers for it. Even if there are good teachers, they are under pressure from principal, board, parental pressure, this and that. They have little bit time. How much of life mentoring can they even do? Right? It becomes very difficult. So there are those few schools here and there doing some great work. But other than that, parents, if they can do their part as well, being the biggest influencer, you will start seeing amazing changes in your child's life. So that is how you can create a legend. Okay. Now, whether they will become world legends, I don't know. But can they even become legends within the country? I'll settle for that also. Right. The reason that I'm sharing all this with you is I want to empower the parents so y'all can do it yourself. Initial years, I would do it myself, and I've impacted quite a few lives. But what I realize is I can do only so much. But if I can build these kinds of coaches, the parenting coaches, and who can go forward and help many more parents and children, then literally the reach becomes manyfold, and the thousand legends that is my dream becomes possible, right? So that is one of the reasons why I'm sharing with you all these things that I bring out with my best mentoring practices. So I'm just reading something. Most need training on how to be a good spouse and then how to be a good parent. Urgently need such programs. It's not there, and such programs are not there. Thank you so much for sharing this comment, Ramesh. So some schools are imparting. So becoming aware of these three things is very important. Okay. So how uncomfortable are you with these truths now? Has it brought in some new light? Is it giving you those light bulb moments? Is it giving you some sort of, yeah, I think I need to start thinking about these kinds of things? You can drop a chat, especially, what you're thinking, including all the new ones. Thank you, Captain Preetham. It's very informative. I believe a piece of positive thoughts for better parent is a bonus for me. Thank you, Kamalakshi. So let's continue onwards. There is still lots more to come. So this is just a recap. Neurotic or fear-based parenting, to be constantly liked by our children, and we have not been prepared for parenting. Okay, like attending this workshop, you're getting some idea, some things else. So as we keep empowering ourselves, parenting becomes less and less stressful, more joyful. What we need to replace is with the three new truths. Now, replace emotional parenting with the 3I parenting. That means independent parenting. Independent of what? Independent of our fears, independent of our beliefs and conditioning that we bring, because that plays a massive role in how the child grows up and how he or she is groomed. The second thing is intuitive parenting. You know, the intuitive parenting. So, sorry, intuitive parenting, so that we are doing what is right for the child in the long haul, not being run over by emotions of the child. Okay. And intelligent parenting is learning these kinds of frameworks, understanding, attending workshops like these, courses, and building yourself up, so then you can become a better parent. Many times I find couples, when they are saying they don't want children, and one of the reasons I've heard them is, what, we can't understand, it's too much. They're stressed with the very thought of parenting. So if they can attend workshops like this, attend, sessions like these, then this, it starts making sense. It's no longer a overwhelm. When do we feel overwhelmed? When we don't know something, what is going to happen. So the moment we know ourselves, we are becoming confident. Your own confidence will be better as a parent, and when your confidence increases, your children's confidence also increases. So the 3I parenting: independent parenting, intuitive parenting, and intelligent parenting. So what you're doing right now is intelligent. What I just shared was independent, to become free of your conditionings. This is a testimonial, a parent success story that was shared on Google, and I'm sharing here just for you to read through. I just pause for a few seconds. Ramesh is uncomfortable, very important guidelines to become better parents and better people. Kamalakshi, can you highlight how a wife of a sailor can handle their kids? So, the frameworks that I'm going to be sharing will help you become a better parent. Okay, irrespective, whatever the work, it will give you a little bit of directions and clarity. Will it be perfect? Like I said, no, but it will definitely help you be a better parent. The framework that I'm going to be sharing, the I'll come to that a little later. Attend workshop, sign up for my 2-day workshop if that makes sense to you at the end of this webinar. Okay, it will give you a lot of clarity on what you need to do, including handling your kids, almost like you're like a pseudo sailor, pseudo single parent for a time being, like my wife used to be, when I used to sail. So I'll be sharing those kinds of strategies as well, and we'll come to that. So what is your parenting approach? What is your style to handle day to day? You're like, when the child throws a tantrum, of course, it need not be young kids will throw like tantrums. Older ones may sulk, or they may get angry, or different ways they will express themselves. What is your approach at that time? Somebody had mentioned about gadgets. If you tell them, what happens? What is their response? Most of parenting, like I said, we have to start connecting back now. I told about the 3 uncomfortable truths. Okay. So that in a way decides our style of parenting. Okay. Because those all are coming, those are the root causes in some ways, you could say. And in the front end, this is how it looks to the outside world. Okay. We are either doing instant parenting. The child is angry. I can see many times in restaurants, the not child is upset or cranky, and the parents immediately pass on a phone or ipad or anything like that, and just to keep the child quiet, right? And there is an impact, there is a consequence. We must become mindful that every action has got an immediate consequence and one long term consequence. So the delayed parenting is somebody who's more mindful. Don't eat ice cream at night, eat in the morning. That's like delayed parenting. And the 20-year parenting is becoming mindful that what we are setting in motion, what consequence it is going to have 15, 20 years down the line. To share an example is, today attention deficit is a big issue for everybody, and children are at the brunt of it. Type yes if this is an issue for you or your child. Attention deficit. I mean, you're because of excessive, I'll tell you, excessive gadget use, but how is it connected is what I will explain to you. Lecturing, making him understand, successful 70% of the time. Thank you, Ramesh, for sharing. Kamalakshi, when she is more on mobile, I try to engage her with creative ideas. Thank you, Kamalakshi. 20-year on parenting, ADHD on occasion. Okay. So just a simple question. If you do something, okay, let's say I tell you to throw a ball with one hand and catch it, and ask you to do this every day for maybe an hour, will you become good at it or will you become bad at it? If I ask you to I mean, not juggle, just throw a ball up with one hand and catch it with one hand, will you become good at it or bad at it? good at the practice, very commonsensical, something which all of us understand. Okay. Now, when it comes to gadgets and phones and TV and media, everything changes at a speed of 6 seconds or less if you start observing. You know, pictures, especially charts changing at 6 seconds or less. So when you start doing that day in and out, you are getting practice to a 6 second or less approach. In fact, today they say even lesser, but say 6 seconds. So you become good at it. So when you go about doing other things in your day to day life, you're expecting everything to change at a 6 second speed because you've become so good at that 6 second change. You've been doing this practice every day, watching your mobile phone changing, sweeping through next video, next, Insta reel or whatever it is, reading through. What's happening? You're becoming good at it. So you're becoming good at low attention. So when you become good at low attention, obviously you're going to come up with all sorts of issues. Same for children. They're becoming very good at low attention, and then we're wondering why are they having this ADHD? Why are they having this? Why are they having that? You know, so we have to counter. What is the counter? Again, the second half I will be sharing when I share the 3H framework. So becoming aware. What is the reason for this is to become aware of your parenting style. If you're allowing certain tantrums to happen, especially like say 10-year-old 11-year-olds, how is it going to affect when they are 21, 22, when they're in a hostel working somewhere? Are they going to be throwing tantrums like this? Is the world going to keep quiet if they throw tantrums like this, or they're going to give it back? So am I doing the right thing as a parent today or not? So becoming aware, okay, of what parenting to do. The other thing is to focus on both the personality and character of the child. Personality is like what is shown outside, very important to develop that, but also the character of the child, to have their own uniqueness. And when will this be built? When we can keep our three uncomfortable truths aside, when we can keep it out, when we overcome those three uncomfortable truths, then the child will become a unique individual of themselves. I don't know if you remember the cricket of old days. I mean, I would remember all the cricket players, of course, Kapil Devs, and that time was a legendary. And each of them had a unique personality. Somebody would twitch their shoulder, somebody would come, jump here and there, and then come to the crease. And that used to be everybody's personality. They had that uniqueness. But today we become very homogeneous. Everybody is the same, out of the mill kind of a thing. You can't make out differences. So how can you make them legends? Very difficult. So allow them to thrive. Allow them that uniqueness that they have. Don't be afraid of that uniqueness. Okay. So if it's coming out of fear, then address that fear. That's why I gave you that uncomfortable truths that if you want to become a legend maker as a parent, then without addressing the three uncomfortable truths, it is very difficult to make a legend. Okay, overcome that so they can build unique personality and character. Personality is like the iceberg, what you see on top, and character is what is below that. The other thing that I would like to share with you is the parenting as a spiritual journey. You know, at a functional level, yes, I mean, you're feeding the child, they're growing up and all that stuff, but it's a spiritual journey. Okay, you are the child's greatest mentor. The child has come so you can mentor the child and groom them, but not to forget that the child is your greatest coach. No coach can be there as great as your child, because they will show your weaknesses, they will show your dislike, they will show what you're not good at, what you don't like, because they are little versions of you. They are living under you, so you will get irritated. So every challenge in your life is a reflection of your own life. Every parenting challenge, let me rephrase, let every parenting challenge is a challenge of your own life. It's an opportunity for you to grow. That is why I call it a spiritual journey. No other aspect in a human being's life as rich as a parenting, because you have created a new human being ongoing to become whoever they will become, is the most richest of experiences, and with the power to make a legend out of them. Most of the legends who you see, the parents would have been a very influencing factor. So, or at least a parent like figure. If not parent, then parent like figure. So, the spiritual journey is the child chooses the parent. That's the spiritual journey. The parent doesn't choose the child. Yes, it's come into the womb and comes out, but the child chooses. That is why you get this characteristic child with you. You have a difficult child, you have an easy child, you have this child and that child. So when you start looking at it this way, it becomes less stressful. I mean, one of the goals of this webinar was to help you de-stress. So I wanted to bring this little bit of a spiritual bend, little bit of spiritual angle, just so that life makes little sense. So if there is a challenge in your life, could be a gadget challenge, could be a confidence challenge, ask yourself, are you struggling with that yourself? And if the answer is yes, then the first thing is you must work on it yourself. I had a parent who said, my daughter is a pushover, her friends push over, they don't, she doesn't, I mean, she doesn't have her own say and all that stuff. And so I asked her, are you the same person? She said, yes, that's how I am with my family. So I said, that is why your daughter is like that. I said, you change, your daughter will also change. Because once you learn to set boundaries, your daughter will imitate that and learn to set boundaries. So, so this opportunity, the child is in your life, is to teach you your greatest lesson. So the greatest coach is your own child. I'm only a guide here, but the greatest coach is your own child. So the best poetry, I mean, I've seen so much of great, wonderful quotes, and I want to bring one of the most inspiring quotes in my own life. This is by Khalil Gibran. Some of you may have already known or read about it. Then let's read it together. Your children are not your children. They are sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children are living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. So, this is a poet, Khalil Gibran, and if you have read before, nothing as clear about what parenting is as this poetry. It's fantastic poetry. There are a lot of such spiritual masters there who have given. Vivekananda as another one, Rudolf Steiner, J. Krishnamurti, fantastic human beings who have written wonderfully on education and children. So now we're coming to a very powerful framework that you can use. Until then, no, I was giving you a little bit here and there. Now I'm coming to a very clear framework that I'm going to share with you. So are you ready for it? Ready for the framework? Type yes if you're ready. Kamalakshi says yes. Ramesh says yes, indeed. Super. So I hope all the new joiners who have come in, participate, start seeing what it is that you want to ask, make the best of your time here. The framework, I call it the two freedom framework. Two freedom framework. Okay. And what I mean by the two freedom framework is we have all heard of freedom of choice. It's quite there. Everybody talks about it. It's popular to talk, speak about it. But there is another freedom, very important, I have realized, and I have blended this and created this framework, the two freedom framework. The second important one, what I call the freedom from choice. Freedom of choice, everybody knows, aware of it. Freedom from choice. If you can just follow this freedom framework, as I call it, you'll be able to see amazing parenting from your side. Is it going to be solving all your problems? No. Like I said, this is like a first aid, band-aid parenting today webinar. And the workshop is where you learn more preventive and curative and soulful parenting. But today I want to give away something that you can actually use. So freedom of choice and freedom from choice. For early years, okay, I'm just giving you a rule of thumb, say 10 years. Most of parenting should be freedom from choice. Most of parenting up to 10 years should be freedom from choice. What I mean by that is if your child has to go to bed at 9 o'clock, then the child goes to bed at 9 o'clock. It is not a choice. What time would you like to sleep? 9 or 9:30? No, you sleep at 9 o'clock. Okay. So that becomes the parenting approach, the two freedom framework. Okay. Similarly, what do you want to eat? It's not a choice. This is what is there in the menu, or this is what you made idli, roti, dal, chawal, whatever it is that you're making at home. This is the what the meal is. There is no freedom of choice there. Okay, occasionally on a weekend you may want to order out, ask something. Okay, what do you like to eat today? But for most of the time, it is freedom from choice. Sleep, definitely freedom from choice for early years. Freedom of choice is more for the older kids. That means after 10. Okay. After 10, it is freedom of choice, little by little, gradual. So it's not exactly 10. You could say it's like a transition between 9 and 11. Slowly you're making the change. Think of it as a car's gear. Parenting is not about going in the same gear all the time. It's about shifting the gears. Okay, in this car, we have only two gears, first and second. So you're either in first gear or second gear. So early years, more in first gear, and in second half of the parenting, more in the freedom of choice. Yeah. So example could be, say, toys. A young, say, 5-year-old wants to sleep late. Your rule is to sleep at 9. There is no freedom. I mean, there is no, the choice is freedom from choice. You will decide for the child, right? But the child says, okay, I want to play with toy A and B. Which one? That's her choice. Give her the choice or him the choice, freedom of choice. So you can see where to use which framework. But predominant framework is freedom from choice below 10. So is this framework clear? Why and what we will talk later, but how to use it, this framework, is this clear? Or do you have any questions related to the framework? It's a very simple but powerful framework. So it could be a late night. Let's say a teenager wants to stay out late at night, and the parent is making the choice. And let's say the friends are asking the teenager, okay, you know what, maybe in front of you, they're asking them, you know what, can um, you know uh, Pranav stay out tonight, he's there, and you think that it's too early, you don't want him. So you are making the choice for Pranav. You're saying, okay, you know what, Pranav, or you're telling the Pranav's friends, no, he can't come out today. He has to be at home. Next day is a school day. Maybe in the weekend, you can have a sleepover, stay at home. So freedom from choice. Okay. Not asking Pranav, what would you like to do? Okay. Assuming he's a, say, 12, 13-year old. Because then the Pranav gets the thing, and then maybe he will have a late night. He will not sleep on time. Next day, be sleepy in school. The consequences are there. We can say, see, let him face life. Yes, but sometimes you have to see what is the consequence and take that pressure off. It's like how when we are in a restaurant, sometimes we may ask a friend or a spouse to say, you know what, you decide for me some menu. I don't want to decide also. That's like an example of freedom from choice. Can you choose for me? I don't want to choose today. It releases a lot of pressure for the child. It gives you a lot of clarity what you should do. When should you step in? When should you step out? What aspects of life? So you have to decide for your life. But broadly speaking, gadgets you're going to control for a long time because of the serious effect it has got. It's almost like a drug, in my view. And sleep, you're going to control for a long time. Food in general for some time. So studies, you know that they have freedom from, they have to study. Now, should I study physics on Friday, or should I study chemistry on Friday? That's a freedom of choice you can give for older kids. But for younger children, say 6 7 years old, no, you study this, or you write this what the teacher has told. Freedom from choice. If you have a particular decision that you need to take, then now is the time that you could ask, and then see which framework you'll use, which of the two freedoms. Many times, the freedom of choice is given with a view that let the child become independent very quickly, right? That's the reasoning why we are giving the freedom of choice in the first place. Let the child think independently, do independently. But many times, some decisions can be too big for the child. It actually adds more stress. They're actually relieved that some adult is taking it for them. They're not going to say all these words, they're not even going to realize it, but that releases stress for them. Some parents, some uncle and auntie of the boy or the girl ask some tough questions. You're relieving that pressure by taking that decision for them. It also helps you. It also reduces stress for yourself, helps reduce stress for the child to a big extent. It tells children what your boundaries are. And when you start to hold your boundaries, they learn from you, and they will do the same for their boundaries when they're grown up. When they are asked whether for influence of alcohol or drugs, they'll be able to say no to it because they know how to take that choice because their parents have done it for them and they will now imitate you. Can you see how powerful this is? That this framework will help your child face the young adult years with a lot more confidence. It may not see the effect now, but having worked with this space for quite some time, I've seen that when you start doing this, they're extremely confident as young adults. Yeah, I think that's good, Ramesh. You said that I allow my child to choose from some food from the restaurant menu, but not complete freedom. Science kids, I buy. How old is your child, Ramesh? You mentioned it, but it slipped out. 7. Okay, that's a good age. Food independence is good to have. At the same time, as long as it is not a tantrum. Suppose the house food is made, okay, on that day, and only the child is saying no. Tell, okay, you know what, we will eat out whatever is the designated day for eating out, right? So then that gives them the thing that you're still having, setting the boundaries as the parent. No, they don't have to like it all the time. You don't have to be liked all the times. Again, see, we coming back to those three uncomfortable truths. Where is the decision coming from? Is it the liked, or is it a fear, or what is it coming from? Right. So fairly, as of now, I can see that there is nothing. It's going well. That if I buy the science kit, then he's going to use the full previous science kit. That also is making sense. So sounds good. So this kind of freedom framework will help your own parenting. Suppose we become, now that you have this framework, next time you're stuck in a situation, you'll realize it. Okay, you know what? Okay, this one, freedom from choice, freedom of choice, and then you'll go ahead with it. So the parenting workshops, that I've curated is to help you get these kind of sutras, these kinds of, you know, steps to help you make parenting easier and joyful. Otherwise, without this, we're just fumbling around in the dark. Sometimes, Tukamaro types, sometimes lucky, sometimes not so lucky types. So, so this is the two freedom framework. I'm going to share a parent's journey who used this two freedom framework for his two teenage sons. Um, I think they were about 10 and 15 or something like that. I'll let you play this.
Friends, my name is Dushyan Patel. I am a chartered accountant by profession, and I am having two sons. Elder one is 15 years old. His name is Dev, and younger one is 9 years old. His name is Taran. Here I want to share my experience with Preetham sir and the insights about parenting I got from him. So I had a chance to have a one-on-one meeting with Preetham sir, and truly the insights he gave to me, those was really amazing and really effective in terms of parenting. And I am amazed by the deep knowledge he got, the deep techniques, the effective techniques he has with the parenting. So really, he is having a good in-depth knowledge of parenting techniques, and along with that, he also knows what child or kids need to do in different age groups, and what the activities they need to perform in order to have a better development, holistic development. So those techniques, those habits, what he said with me are really and truly very useful. I found it very useful. I started using them, and I am getting the results right now. So definitely, I thank you, Vikram sir, for that, and definitely your advice and guidance is much of help to me. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
I hope you all were able to listen to it, and the audio was clear. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. Thank you.
Friends, my
So far we have completed the three uncomfortable truths of parenting and the one framework, the freedom framework for stress-free parenting. Okay. The other thing that still remains is how to build healthy and confident children. And I saw a question from Ramesh. I will tackle that when I'm sharing this healthy and confident children. I will be speaking about the point that you raised. So before we continue again, just to reshare the influencing factors that has given me this knowledge which Dushyant was sharing. In fact, he's runs a coaching institute, and there is a lot of advice that I share to him on how to build better leaders and better, students there in his coaching center. So the mentors that have come to my life, like I said, all the fantastic mentors, and the anthroposophy, which has been one of the guiding frameworks that I use. Then the homeschooling initiative that we ran ourselves for a few years, which gave me a lot of in-depth understanding on children and what is working, how to build them into confident beings, and the apprentice program, which was for older kids, which was a very, very rich experience for everybody and gave me a lot of insights on working with young adults. And today I do a lot of mentoring programs and one-to-ones and group coaching, and for parents and also for teenagers one-to-one, but parents mainly group coaching, because I realized if I can just empower the parents, then they can carry forward whatever I have learned and they can implement it in their daily life. The other thing being the offline program like stargazing and woodworking and all those kind of program, which builds what I call the willpower. And the final being my own parents journey, which has been very educational for me, and it has helped me grow better as well. So this is the root of my knowledge, my source from which I share all these nuggets of wisdom that I have been able to capture. Again, this is my mission to create making of these thousand legends. And parents like you, aspiring coaches like you, are the people that can help me achieve this making of thousand legends, be part of this mission, so we can create this kind of a country, kind of world where these thousand legends can, we have groomed directly. And one of the inspiring things for this mission came from Rabindranath Tagore's Shantiniketan. And in the Shantiniketan, I saw that when I started reading that history and reading about Tagore, I realized that there were so many luminaries, so many world renowned people who have come out of Shantiniketan. I was amazed, how can one institution bring out so many renowned people? And that's when I started reading what Rabindranath Tagore would do in his classes, in his schools, and it gave me a lot of things. So, like that, there are, I don't know how many mentors. Once I did a rough sketch and I just put some names, and there were over 50 mentors who have influenced me. I'm sure if I put a little more thought, I would get easily 100 mentors who have influenced my life, especially in these programs. So that is where it is. This is the mission. And I would also like now to talk a little bit before I continue on what the parenting roadmap looks like. And of course, we need 10,000 legends to spread around the world, sustainable, dharmic, sustainable living for humanity. I accept it. And there are a lot more. We have to live to our full potential. Yeah. So, one of the parenting roadmap that is right now that you're part of is the parenting webinar, where we are addressing some burning issues. I'm giving you some tactics, you're going and solving and good to go types. The parenting workshop, which I will be inviting you shortly, is on preventive and soulful parenting. It is intensive workshop, 5 hours each day for 2 days, 9th December and 10th December, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. If dates are not an issue and you feel that you got a lot of value today, then just be ready for, I don't know how many, more than 10 frameworks, a lot of insights into parenting, understanding of the child's need in depth, which will give you that kind of confidence for yourself. So it's a 2-day workshop, and I'll be sharing more. And is it going to solve all problems? No, 75-80% of your issues, you're going to be able to solve that, and that is a good chunk, good confidence builder. There will be still few, a small handful of y'all in that who probably have hard challenges. It's not something that's going to go away so easily. Big issues, burning issues. For that, I have a mentoring program, a group mentoring program. And then there is a parents tribe where continuously we invite them for a year-long program if they're interested. And of course, my highest level program is my one-to-one personalized mentoring. Not everybody needs it, but that's there as well. So at this point is about just the parenting workshop. But my other real goal, this is as my mission, is to help each one, whoever is interested at least, to become a legend maker yourself. Whatever I have learned in these 12 years, I'll just be giving all of that in the Legend Makers program, the coaches program, which is happening in February. And before that, they also must do the parenting workshop, because that lays the foundation. If you're interested to become a parenting coach yourself, maybe as a full-time parenting coach or as a part-time in the weekend, you can, and not only as a passion, but also as a profession, you can do, earn a living, earn a livelihood, grow your, wealth, grow your team, and be part of the mission. So if that's something of interest to you, then too, I would ask you to sign up for the parenting workshop if that's something that you're interested. Of course, there are many other things as well, going on to become a legend maker, tribe, legend mentors, and legend masters. So if it's something that you would like to turn your passion into profession, then please enroll for the parenting workshop. So the details of the parenting workshop, it's a 2-day parenting workshop on the 9th and 10th December. And this is between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m., ideally ages 5 and 15 years. Why? Because first 5 years is more of instinctual, but still I will be sharing some thoughts about early parenting years, what you should do or not do. Okay. One part module of that will be on that. Another 2 modules will be on 15 plus years, 15 to 20 plus years. What kind of parenting is still there, if at all? What should you do as a parent? So after 15 plus also, I will be sharing what you need to do in this parenting workshop. And a bulk of the focus would be focused on the 5 to 15 years. So in this, what is the intent of this 2-day parenting workshop is to learn to make legends. Just like you're learning these frameworks, you learn more amazing frameworks there. How to stay de-stressed as parent. Once you start putting this into practice, more things, and you'll have more questions to ask. And that will be a meeting format. Unlike this webinar, we will have all of us on videos, and that's a workshop. It's not a master class like this where I'm just talking. You're going to be doing the work. I'll be giving you a workbook. You're going to be filling it out, working on yourself, getting fully immersed in the learning experience, and to build a better bond. Just like all these parents who have helped build a better bond with their relation with their children, for you as well, and especially for parents and aspiring coaches. This is a must do with us for our program. And question and answers, anything that you have will be addressed there. What we will not be, what we will do is 10 parenting frameworks you will learn, maybe more, but 10 at least. Workbook to reinvent yourself, which will be working modern day challenges like sleep, digital habits. We will go into more depth, different combinations, different issues within that. And then how to build legends in 12 weeks, what kind of system that you can create for yourself. But the very important thing is understanding the growth and development needs of your child in different phases. This is really the secret sauce, if I can tell you, understanding the growth in different phases. If you can understand that and using the framework, it's a deadly combination to be a parent. You will find it so much smooth. You'll be able to help the people in your neighborhood. You'll be able to help your brothers, sisters, their children's, and it'll be an amazing thing to do. Okay, and of course, questions and answers. So the date, just to mind the date, it is 9th and 10th December, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. What we will not be covering is not special needs children, although you will find that it is helping them as well, at least reducing their stress. What I will not be covering is which syllabus or board to join, or career choices for your children, or how to study or pass exam. Although I will be telling you how they can do it themselves, what kind of tools and techniques to use, the mindset to have, rather than exactly giving you a fish, you will be learning how to fish. I will also be sharing my two ocean theory, which will give you clarity on how to make career choices for your children. So, this is what you're going to get in this 2 day workshop. Are you excited to be part of this? Would you like to know more? What about this? The Other than the pricing, pricing is there. Other than the pricing, is there any questions that you have in mind? Any question that is holding you back from signing up? Ramesh question, how can we find the swadharma of the child natural tendencies which match the career profiles? My advice is, let the child themselves find, just empower them. That is why I use the garden analogy, the farming analogy. We don't grow the plant. The plant grows by itself. We only nurture the soil. So same like this, we only nurture the child surrounding, child's well-being. The child grows themselves. They find their purpose and directions for themselves. We only empower that. So that, in a way, would what my advice would be. So if this is the program, what do you think would be the value of this program? A 2 day intensive workshop. Don't worry, I'm not going to be asking you that price, what you're going to tell. But what do you think is the value of this workshop? Whether you sign up or not also does not matter. But what do you think is the value of this workshop? Thank you, Ramesh. Kind words, it may be invaluable. Absolutely, in some ways it is. But we do have to put some value, not just for the children, but the parents too. Absolutely. Fantastically spoken. There is still a value for this. It's about 50,000, maybe less than a school year's fees, at least lesser than that, hopefully. And this 2 day workshop will give you all this kind of, parenting frameworks, workbook. So we're going to be working together, all of us there. I'll be giving you, you're going to be working in smaller groups as well, working by yourself in the workbook. You start going to start implementing them in the 2 days. Okay. And they are going, it's not that I'm going to be asking you 50,000 today. The price that is being charged for this workshop is 14,950. Do you think that's a good value? Superb. Thank you for sharing. It is, value, but I have what is called a webinar offer. and you don't even have to pay that much today. You have to only invest about 9,950. Okay, 9,950 for this webinar. I'm going to be sharing a link with you in the chat box. This is a payment link for 9,950, and for the first two people, who sign up will get a super bonus for the first two people. That is a 40-minute one-to-one mentoring with me. My one-to-one mentoring itself will cost you, if you book me privately and outside, it will cost you close to 15,000. And you're getting that mentoring for free, but only for the first two individuals. And for the rest of you who sign up, you will still get amazing value. There are some amazing bonuses that I'm going to be giving to you, only valid before the webinar ends. So if you think this is a great value, then click the link, make the payment, 9,950, and let me welcome you personally here while you're here live with me. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. If you have any questions about the program, if you're not sure, then do ask now, so I can help you make that decision. I can clarify your doubts if you have anything here. If you make the payment, do drop in the chat box so I can welcome you personally in the sign up. Otherwise, I will continue in the end. The workshops are intensive, so it's not conducted often. It's conducted twice, maybe sometimes thrice a year. Is dates an issue for some of you? Is it because of the dates? It's a Saturday and Sunday. There is also another date in case you want to book for that. It is the 20th and 21st of January. 20th and 21st of January. So if you would like to grab the same offer for 21st, and I can share you the link. So 9,950, do you think it's of value? Do you think it could help you become better at your parenting, help you get that clarity? And especially if you want to become a parenting coach, you want to go on that step, then it's even more needed that you take up this journey. Your spouse and you can do it on the same ticket, in the sense there is no separate ID. If you want a separate ID, you're in different cities, different places, or you'll want to be joining in separately, then they get a 50% discount. Or if you just like to sit together in the same screen and do, then that's completely okay with the same payment. So actually, it's like 2 for 1, literally. So I've shared the links to Ramesh for the January, and if you are interested for the December batch for the 9th and 10th, then the link has already been shared. Let me reshare it again in case I've missed it. The 9th and 10th December has already been shared. Yeah. So if there are any questions that is holding you back, now's the time to ask, to see what will change in your life if you were able to attend that, able to see if you can make sense of your parenting. Yes, the offer, bonus offer is only valid before the webinar ends. The bonus offer is only valid before the webinar ends, because what I've seen is people who take decisions are the ones who are going to implement it and help us in our mission as well. How to build confidence in your children. Let's continue. How to build confidence in your children. One of the things in confidence is three things. You can, to build their discipline, that is making sure that either they make their beds, do some gardening, do some pet care, you know. The second thing is to help them build confidence by helping others, without being asked, going out there and helping them. That's the second thing. The third thing is to express gratitude, because many times they don't even realize how much of help comes their way. And this gratitude is not generic, but of effort. If they can recognize another human being's effort that is done towards them by whatever it may be, it could be that they have, brought them a glass of water, they have cooked meal for them, they have explained something to them, they have, you know, had a conversation with them, that kind of gratitude. These three things, if you can do with your children, again, doing it for 2 3 days and expecting changes, it is not going to happen. What you need to do is at least do it for a few weeks, and only then will you be able to. I hope the screen sharing is still there. No? Can you see my screen? Thank you. Thank you. So this is the confidence. The second thing is confidence can be in different realms. Somebody could be intellectually confident in the sense like they can speak, have a conversation, talk about different things. The second kind of person could be very confident in their arts and expression, in dancing and singing. And the third kind of confidence could be somebody who goes about doing things, building things in the outdoors, making things. So confidence itself can have its variety. There's three different dimensions. So when we say confidence, we have to build confidence not in just one, but all the three. The child is naturally confident in one, we have to help them build in the other two. Just like three legs of a chair or a stool. We can't have one very strong leg, other two weak. It will not hold for long. So the confidence is like we have to make sure all the three legs of that stool or the chair is very strong. Confidence in the mind, confidence in their heart, and confidence in their hands. So I would like to share this simple analogy of the 3H framework, where before I share that, I want to talk about this clock. Now imagine there are these three hands: second hand, minute hand, and hour hand. If the second hand was not there, would it affect you? Would it affect time reading? No, no. Okay. Now let's say the second hand is there, our hand is there, but there is no minute hand. Is it going to affect you somewhat? Imagine there is no minute hand, only our hand and second hand. Now, the third situation, as you would have guessed, there is no hour hand, second hand, and minute hand. How useful is this clock? Unless, of course, you keep checking the outside, the sun and here and there, but still you can't exactly tell how much it is unless you're constantly doing only that work. So, just like these three hands, what I call the 3H, the head, heart, and hands. Okay, the head, heart, and hands. The head is like our seconds hands. The heart is like the minute hand. Hands is like the hour hand. What I mean by this is if we send the child to some program, maybe to learn geography or to enroll for some class more intellectually stimulating, right? You can, when the child comes back, you can immediately see in one day how much they have learned, and you can be like, wow, you know so much about geography today. It's very impressive. The second hand is very impressive. It's constantly moving. It's like that attention. It kind of, it's like a sugar. The second part is the heart, the minute hand. It's like the artistic. Suppose you enroll a child for a music class, maybe a flute, maybe a guitar, okay, and both of them go for a week. The geography class or the robotics class, whichever that may be for the head, and for the heart they go for the music class. And third, the hands, maybe they go for a carpentry class or a football class. After 1 week, the hands person will hardly be able to show you anything big or great that they did. The heart person will able to show maybe one or two chords or something they will sing. The head person will show you a lots of things that they have learned. Very impressive. But the true well-roundedness happens when we build all these things, the hands, heart, and head. It is very difficult. The hands represents the willpower. The heart represents the courage or confidence. The head represents the intellect. But most easy to impress is the head. Learn a few things and you're very impressed. Wow. But heart is more difficult. You need to come out of your shell to express. You need to have that confidence, courage. It takes a little more time to build. The most difficult but most rewarding is the hand. Just like the other hand, without will, the other two are completely useless. So, coming back to that question, that to have a well-rounded, healthy, resilient, confident children, you should focus your parenting to make sure that they are well-rounded in their head, heart, and hands. The head is very easy. Today, there are dime a dozen programs. I mean, there is no shortage of programs. Lots. The schooling anyway is head-oriented. The last 10, 15 years since I've been in education, I can see a lot of growth towards the heart side, artistic thing, dance, music has grown. People are becoming more aware. We need it in school, we need it in our life. But the hands, hardly anyone is aware. Very few people, very handful of people I know who are working on this space. So the hands will build your child's will, and without will, everything else just stops. Just like this clock. Without the hour hand, just they lose their meaning. Without meaning hand, yes, it's little, it's not the same without minute hand. It's like kind of frustrates you. Without head, yeah, there is no joy, but it adds a little color to the life, the intellect. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, make sure the activities that you are enrolling them, make sure the activities that they are getting at home, their day-to-day activities, not every day equal, but at least the average for the week is balanced. Worst case, average for the month is balanced. That means if they had too much of head this week, because you just couldn't help it, because we have to also work with practical dynamics. Then okay, next 1 week, let's work on this, work on this. So the head related activities, if it's too much in your child, balance it with heart and hands. That's why some of my programs, like I mentioned earlier, offline programs where we do a lot of organic farming, we do a lot of handwork, woodwork, just to build the hands. And that is why I can see these children have such amazing willpower to do a lot of things. There was this child, let me share the story, where when he joined my program, he had, I forgot the word, but phobia for dirt. And he would not touch mud without gloves. And he was somebody who was super intelligent, very, very intelligent, poor will. No, heart also was decent. So I started putting him into the farming program. This is pre-COVID. No? And in the farming program, he would come, put the seeds. He would come every day. We would go here and there, and he would plant these watermelon seeds. I showed him few techniques, and he would work with the farmer there. And slowly and steadily, he started changing. Different kind of calmness had come. That hyper energy was fading away. A little more calm, more groundedness was coming in. There was more deeper conversation he would get into, more than shallow changing topics here and there. And then the COVID, after COVID or mid COVID, somewhere his parents called me and told me, "You won't believe it today. He's managing our farm alone. He's has the cattle. He says he's just staying alone by himself. He's got a caretaker there to manage, and we go once a weekend. And he's now managing, he's working with his hand. There is no thing. He showed me a photo, all hands dirty with cow dung and mud. And I was like, man, you're changed completely. He said, yes, I'm completely different person now. You know, and that kind, he's a 17-year-old boy, super confident about what he wants to do, how he wants to take it forward, the way he talks and carries himself today. So that's what hands will do for you. Okay. So this is what you need to see, how much of hands and heart they're getting. Heart, like as head, I said, it's a given, it's being taken care of. You don't even have to try. But heart and hands is where you need to focus more. So how clear is this 3H framework? Conceptually clear? Good to hear. So, like I mentioned, it is about the earlier question. I don't know if I have it here. Like reads a lot of books, bookworm, can debate scientifically. So a lot of head has stirred, right? So a good thing would be now to make sure he gets a lot of music, a lot of singing, a lot of musical stuff. Third thing is to make sure that he gets a lot of hands on kind of work. Do some gardening at home. Maybe you have just a few pots, just do something, or you have lots of pots, do some gardening. Have a pet to care. If you have a pet, let him take care of that little bit. Basic stuff. Maybe feed food or something. We have fishes, then put some food to the fishes. So doing this kind of hands work. This would be classical hands-on work. Clear up the table, dining table before the foods are laid. Just take your own plate, wash your own plate. These are simple hands-on work that you can do in your house. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So the more you can involve, as long as, like I said, it's balanced over a period of a month, then that's good. A week, even better if you can do it. Daily, it's not possible. Theoretically, maybe, but not practically. But at least on a week to week basis, if it's kind of balancedly you're going, then that's a good thing. Because otherwise, what I've seen is the challenges come in the later years. So a lot of work has to happen. One more short video.
This is Vipin, and this has been an amazing experience. And I think Captain Preetham has always been there for us whenever we needed help, and somebody whom we look up to in terms of suggestions and guidance uh, regarding our son. And it's somebody whom our son also looks up to and takes his advices seriously, and we could learn quite a lot of tips and processes which actually start to show good results as we progress. So something very simple to implement, but it brings out things and results that we are very happy to acknowledge, and very approachable. I think we have gone ahead and discussed with him things far beyond the program that we signed up for. So it's been very, very, very satisfying for us. And thank you, Captain Preetham. I think that was very, very helpful from our aspects. And I think this is an ongoing journey, and we hope to trouble you more and more. That's all I had from my side.
Yeah, Captain Preetham came as an anchor, a mentor. So he was a good mentor, like in times of whenever we needed advice, and whenever I needed suggestions to move forward concerning Nathan's journey, and in the journey of ourselves also. In our personal journeys, he was great in encouraging me to pursue my personal goals also. Mostly in the journey to help Nathan, where we felt we were stuck in the middle. So one person I thought of asking help was Captain Preetham, and he was very approachable and gave helpful advices. And so I hope you will the journey will continue with you.
This is Vipin.
So superb. For those who are signing up today, it is the 4 weeks extended group support you have, and the all webinar workshop recordings. There's also a 4-week personal mastery program and 12 weeks legend maker program for the youngsters. I mean, if the kids are there between, especially from 8 to 15 years old, they would love this program, where they would be involved in a weekly. It's a do-it-yourself with parents, but they would be part of this. So all these bonuses, which we would charge nearly 9,000 just for this 12-week program, 7,000 for this 4-week program, all this would be completely free as part of the 2-day workshop. Similarly, for the super bonus, for those who are signing up today, if we see your payments are through, then you would get this 40 minutes. I had said 2, but let me make it 3. First 3 signups will get a 40 minutes one-to-one mentoring with me. So this is the Legend Makers program. And the questions and answers, I think we've covered most of it. If there's any that remains, then I can take it here. So thank you everybody for taking time out and being here part of this webinar. And I hope you got some amazing insights today. I hope you were able to learn a lot that you can implement in your parenting journey, make that spiritual journey, and hope to see those changes so that you can be a legend creator for your child. So thank you so much. I hope you sign up soon so you grab these bonuses. Sign up today by midnight if you have discussed with your spouse, discuss with your family, and then grab all these bonuses today. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day ahead. Take care.